So treatment methodologies, if you see, basically, again, this is methodology point of view. If I have to see, there are conventional and non-conventional system. The conventional system normally works with electromechanical equipments and chemicals, whereas the non-conventional, normally, if you see, yeah, these are different type of a treatment system actually we use for different combination. So for the non-conventional with the decentralized concept, we use mostly a nature-based system, which is constructed wetland, DWAS, WSB, SBT, phytoride. I'm going to talk a little bit about all these things today. Whereas there is also a possibility that in the decentralized system, you can also use a conventional system, which is a package system with electromechanically operated. Because in the interest of the space, sometimes we have to go for a mechanical system, because the nature-based system takes a good amount of space. So just to introduce you some of the few technology which is very popular and people are using this extensively actually. So the full form of this is decentralized wastewater modules actually. If you see, it brings an anaerobic and aerobic treatment, a combination. So here if you see, at least 4 treatment modules are there, but these are all very well packaged and very well installed within the treatment area actually. The settler, the baffle reactor, the anaerobic filter, and the planted goal filter. So this looks like to you is a different system, but when you construct it, it is very well packaged actually. This entire thing goes underground. It's a tanks actually where the water moves up and down. And this is actually a simple gravel filter where if you see really, there is no water is visible. It is a horizontal flow, submerged flow. So only the plants are visible here actually. And this is a pond where either it will be open pond, or within the pond itself, we also grow, which we call it as a floating wetland. So this concept is very popular and been utilized for different, from a household. This technology can be used for a single household till actually with the larger population with many households also. So in a country, more than 1,000 systems as on date, people are really using it. So this is called as DWATS. So similarly, we also have a system called soil biotechnology. Again, this is also a nature-based system. In all these systems, absolutely there is no electromechanical or chemical inputs are required for treatment per se. Of course, if there is no gravity available, pumps have been utilized for taking the water from from the bottom to top. If not, there is no mechanical equipments for the treatment itself actually. Here also, if you see a simple settling tank, from there the water has been pumped into a open garden, I would call it as. If you see the picture here, actually this is again filled with different graded gravels and the sand, all such things, and the soil. In this case, soil is also been put and the plants are grown on top of it, and the water is being poured from top to bottom here. And when you put this, when it comes out, actually the water is being treated to the required standard. And at the end, we always use a pond, in the case of DWATS, or here it is for the hygienization and disinfection with the ultraviolet rays actually. A third system again is a phytoride system. Basically, again, the systems are same. So as I said, it's a nature-based system. Some of different agencies have developed this system on their own actually, by tweaking little bit here and there with the treatment modules. If not, the treatment principles are same. The beginning is screening, then actually comes is a settling. After the settling, actually, in case of a DWATS, there is a further biological treatment in an anaerobic method, where again further digestion and taking place, and then water comes into the planted gravel filter or a constructed wetland, what we call it as, where the water is being treated to the next level. So here also, if you see, this is actually a biochemical oxygen. Here actually the plants bring the oxygen, and at the same time it consumes also fertilizer. And when water passes through the filter media, most of the water is filtered, and also as the microorganism is present here, they also consume the pollutants from the water actually. Of course, at the end we always put a pond. As I said, it is for the disinfection. Yeah, WSP, the waste stabilization pond. I think you would have seen. It's a pond system. Basically, water flows from one pond to another pond and from the third pond. So each pond has its own treatment mechanism. The first one we call it as a sedimentation pond, which works anaerobically. This is very deep pond actually. The second one is a facultative pond, and third one is a maturation pond. Water flows one after the other actually. So first gets into the anaerobic pond, then gets into the facultative pond, and then gets into the maturation pond. So this is a sequence actually. The water comes from one point, the design actually. So as the retention time increases, the pond size also increases. Of course, in the same pond, people are also using aeration actually. Normally, you would have seen this in a mechanical system where actually the oxygen is being put into the water using this aerators, a fan kind of a device which mixes air to the water, and through that the oxygen also been used. Yeah, again, this is a constructed wetlands, a series of ponds actually, where again, not like a waste stabilization pond. This is a different type, where in this case, actually, mostly the gray water as well as the storm water has been treated, where the pollution level is not very high, very less actually. But one of the very effective system, if you see many of the systems post after the treatment for polishing purpose, they are using such facility in many places actually now. Yeah, of course, the last part, as you all know, that electromechanically operated system, there are plenty are available as on date: activated sludge process, sequential batch reactor, MBBR system, FAB system. So this is also one of the system, again, works the biological working principle. They have used mechanical the treatment can happen in a very small area actually. Of course, the challenge is operational maintenance is there, and skilled operation is not required. Only thing what is required, course, with the decentralized system, always we try to use a simplified sewer system. This is not a same as a conventional sewer system, which is used at the city level. If you see below the roads and all those things, this is called as a conventional piping, whereas there is an alternative to it in a smaller cluster and all. We try to use a decentralized, for the decentralized system, we use this simplified sewer system. Again, it has two types. One is a shallow sewer system, other one is a small bore sewer system, where actually only the water flows and the solids gets actually accumulated at the household itself. So this has been normally been practiced actually for this, whereas the advantage of this is does not go deeper. The pipe diameter is not larger, so hence the cost is lesser and the convenience of implementation is also easier. So now application, now onwards, few pictures I will show after these two slides. So application at city level, where and all decentralized systems are applicable actually. So this is the core part of the area where the actually centralized systems are already covered, but still in such places also there are many places as there where these decentralized systems can be implemented. For example, a place where already the pipes are already reached to a maximum, its capacity. In such places, we can provide this. Wherever you have a pumping station, maybe the pumping station can be avoided, and surrounding to that, basically a low-lying area. So wherever there is a low-lying area, then actually always the pumping is required. For such low-lying area, we can use this. And of course, wherever you feel that there is a reuse requirement, there are many places now, because of the water scarcity, people are also using tapping this water from the sewerage, treating it and reusing it actually. So yeah, again, as I said, and apart from that, it can be also used for the unserved areas, basically for a new development area and a low-lying area, slum areas also in many places, because these places have been not covered by the centralized system for different reasons. So in such places also decentralized systems are possible. And of course, the last one is the on-site, wherever the reuse requirements are there. So in the periphery, it is really useful because quite a lot of reuse possibilities are there, because this treated water can be reused as it contains a good amount of fertilizer. Yeah, so these are some of the pictures what I'll show now quickly about the application. As I said, these decentralized systems can be applied at a household level. Again, it requires a very little area actually, if it has been very well planned when we construct the house. It actually in the setback put on the roof. So it can be also planned for a newly developing housing colonies, where if you see in this case, actually the pipes have been put at the back side of the houses, not on the road actually. So this is a simplified sewer system, what we call it as. So this is one of the case in Tamil Nadu. Actually the area gets flooded actually. In such cases also, this systems works very well. So for an institutions also.
Rajesh, your slide went off.
Went off?
Yeah, it just, you can share your screen again.
Can you see now?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are all an institution, hotel buildings, office buildings. In all these places, actually, these decentralized systems can be implemented very well. The garden kind of a thing, what you see is actually a decentralized system. Below this, actually, there is a treatment system. Where on top of it, either you can use it as a parking facility and other facility. Absolutely, you don't see these systems at all here. So only well planning is required, then actually you don't feel that there is a space required. Of course, in a slums areas, wherever there is a community toilet or a public toilet, in these places also this facility can be used. And this is a particular case in Karnataka, where the waste is being treated and the biogas is being generated, and this biogas has been used for heating the water for bathing purposes. So the operator sells this water 5 rupees a liter, 5 rupees a bucket actually, as a hot water for the community here, whoever uses this facility. Similarly, like also for a pond, actually you know that most of the water comes to the drain into the pond. So there is also a mechanism using this system. We can treat the water on the way, and then the clear water can reach actually to the pond actually. Yeah, of course, the reuse options are because the treatment byproducts we have is a treated wastewater, sludge, and a biogas. So, of course, water can be used for different purposes, for agriculture, for industrial reuse, for all such things. And of course, the sludge with the due treatment, with adequate treatment, it can be used for a land application. And of course, if you generate a biogas, then it can be used also for a heat production, basically cooking and lighting. Yeah, so that's it. Sorry, I've exceeded maybe a time, a few minutes. So if anybody has any question, you can ask. And sorry that I have to rush because of the time.
Thank you, Rajesh.